everyone. We're here today to demonstrate the hang power clean. So I have John here taking us through the technique of the movement. We're going to break it down into several parts so that when we bring it all back together, you'll see clearly how the movement is done. So John here is going to address the bar directly up to his shins. And what that means is when he walks up to the bar, we want it as close to his shins as possible. We don't want to have space away from the bar because when he goes to lift, the more the weight is away from his body, the more susceptible he's going to be to injury. So from here, John already has his hands on the bar. So you'll notice he's got a narrower grip than a snatch grip, for instance. So in a clean, we do want our grip to be about thumb's length outside of our hips. So if he did that before he went to the bar, he'd look like this, and then as he comes down, he's going to grip the bar there. Now he wants to be evenly spaced, so a lot of times how he has his hands lined up here, that generally works really well. So that typically puts you about thumb's length outside of your hips. So using the knurling of the bar, he lines himself up evenly spaced. So if he was off, that weight's going to feel really terrible as he goes to lift. So that's really important as well. From here, he's going to pull his butt down and bring his chest up. And if he does it correctly, he's going to see, or you'll see, if you're looking behind, his back's super tight. So with a tight back, I can tell that just by, from here, if he were to round his chest, so go ahead and drop. So his shirt becomes tight on his back, but as he tightens his back, he's going to create a bunch of wrinkles in his shirt. So one cue that we like to say is wrinkle your shirt. It tends to work really well to get that impact of squeezing the shoulder blades. From here, he's just going to actually deadlift the bar up. So as he comes up, general deadlift, still want to use good form, so he's really, really tight with the deadlift. We won't go over that in this video, but we'll have one in the future over the actual deadlift. And then from here, he's going to push his chest out and squeeze that back again, or make sure he still is, to come down to the hang position. So from the hang position, his hips have gone back. So he's not resting the bar on his legs. That would look more like this. He's got the bar resting against his legs as opposed to sitting on them. From this position, technically in the hang, if you want to go ahead and stand up, you can. Technically in the hang, he can land anywhere from the bottom of his pocket to the top of his knee. If he passes below the knee, then that's no longer the hang position. If he's above, so from here, this would be high hang position. This is position 1 technically. In the hang, he's going to be in position 2. So from that hang position, stop. So from this starting position, he's now in his hang. All we're going to talk about is the actual pull. So he is going to hip extension, shoulder shrug from this position. So go ahead and do a slow motion, hip extension, shoulder shrug. And notice how he does come into his toes. So we do want to see movement of the feet. Now when he does the next one, he's actually going to extend his feet out. It's almost like he's jumping in a sense from his feet. So I could watch his movement and see a lot that happens just from watching the feet, whether he's using his hips or not. So ideally what we're going to see is just a hip extension, shoulder shrug. Elbows are going to drive through like 2 uppercuts as he catches that bar in the front rack position. So go ahead and demonstrate that. Good, perfect. And then notice how when he does receive that bar, his elbows are in front of the bar. If his elbows were behind, first that would be really inefficient. He'd be holding the bar in a really weird way. But that secures that, and we know that it's behind in his neck where it's supposed to be and not down on his arms. You can go ahead and put the bar down. So I'm going to have him actually turn without the bar and see if he can still mimic this movement without using it. So turn like facing that way. And if he had a bar in his hands, we're going to do a fake bar. He's going to be here in his hang position. But if you notice, the things that are moving mostly for his power is going to be his hips and his shrug. That's going to generate that power for the bar to come up. That's how you're going to get more weight. So go ahead and just shrug and extend again. So from the side, you can see he's straight up and down, but a little bit behind with his shoulders as he shrugs. That's going to allow him to get out of the way of the bar path because we know the bar needs to go straight up and down. We don't want it to pop out, so if he were to do some weird forward movement, the bar is going to have to go out, and then he's going to have to work against that to bring it back in. So just a whole slew of things wrong with that. We want to keep the bar path going straight up and straight down, which when he does that shrug back a little bit, so a slight hyperextension in his back, it gets out of the way so he can move that bar through there perfectly.